I think for construction tech, realistically, it's the next level of project management softwares that sort of quite excited me in that world. I sort of feel like I mean, if you go back a couple of years, there was if you go back a few years, there was nothing. Everything was Excel. And then we've had this lump of, you've got Procore and Autodesk and Oracle. They all sort of jumped in and started doing construction management softwares, which is great. Now they're all throwing sort of AI, and I invert the commas around the AI because I don't quite think it's not really doing anything yet. It's sort of more like a Microsoft Copilot, which is not super helpful. And so I guess really I'm waiting for the next bit. So the proper, the proper push into project management softwares that actually help you project manage rather than just say, oh, here's a tool. But it'll actually give you the sort of the guidelines and the rails that to get you, through the project cycle. And even more so, like the next bit is how we work into pricing. So true pricing softwares, I've seen quite a few that have popped up, a lot of them all sort of startups. And I know a couple of developers who are building their own stuff in-house, just to try and, I guess, take some of the risk out of construction. So, I mean, I think that's definitely the most exciting next bit. I mean, obviously, other than scanning software. I think where construction has been so tech averse and now everything's been thrown at it super quickly, I completely agree with you there, Yoshi. I mean, although, okay, I agree with you in a big sense, but my smaller sense is construction is aging and we've got a new generation that are coming through, and that new generation that I say coming through, hopefully coming through, are going to be more tech savvy than the ones that have to be convinced. So they're going to be more accepting of the mistakes potentially that they make and more understanding on how to prompt correctly and how to get the best out of those softwares. Now, if we're saying, okay, so that if you froze the demographics where we are now and you say, okay, these are the softwares we're going to use, sure, the generation in the 40s and 50s that aren't sort of used to using these softwares, they're going to struggle. And the moment they do something wrong, I mean, like I see it on LinkedIn quite often where, I mean, LinkedIn's full of ChatGPT articles these days, but somebody basically posted a ChatGPT thing about a roof detail, and they were bombarded by architects saying, that detail's completely wrong, it doesn't work, it's against building regulations, you can't use this sort of stuff. And I guess that's part of the issue, is that if people are so easily to throw out this sort of misinformation without having the experience to check it, then you get that distrust. But I guess the hope is that the younger generation, as they go through, the ones that are more used to using it, it may catch up, or we may have this hybrid spot where you're right, where the bubble just gets, I mean, I'd say probably the bubble in AI is about as toppy as it can be right now. It's been like really thrown at us that AI is going to do everything. And I don't know about you guys, but the ChatGPT version 5 that came out, I mean, all right, it's pretty similar to the one before. It didn't do anything like revolutionary, which is sort of what I was waiting for. Well, I mean, from a sales side, it's open to anyone. So please do reach out. But I mean, I really think it would be such a benefit to one-man band architects or at least smaller firms. I mean, I won't go into pricing, but obviously these devices are still reasonably expensive. So that's probably the biggest limiting factor when it comes to the one-man bands. But we do have a couple who have used the device, and like we have one chap so he went to a client meeting, he took his assistant walked around the house whilst he was chatting to the client. His assistant finished the scan. He loaded the scan up into the cloud, downloaded it onto his iPad, and then started doodling and drawing like right there in front of the client as far as, starting to do sort of provisional changes and those sort of things. I mean, I think the first one is speed and ease of use. And that's probably actually in the simplest stage, that is essentially it. That you can get a scan yourself with, just by walking around. So however long it takes you to walk around a property, by the time you've finished, you've essentially got your scan. And that's then on the portal ready for you to download either in DXF file, which is a DWG in 2D. You can download the point clouds. As AI drawings get better and better, the idea is that you'll be able to just download a full model ready to go. So what you haven't had to do is you haven't had to get a surveyor out, so time-wise. But even if you are a surveyor, the complexities on some of these softwares that you have to realign the models and run them through other softwares, which then, like most of the time, you need a slightly better computer to run it through. Like we've also made the decision so our point clouds, we reduce the amount of density of the point cloud. So although we capture all the points in post-processing, we reduce the amount of points captured, which means that our point cloud models are a much smaller file size. which therefore means that you can stick that into Autodesk quite easily. And it's a really easy to use model rather than sort of the 5, 10, 15 gigabyte models that I know I've used in the past. And I mean, I was on a call with the construction side where an architect was having to slice up his point cloud because it was too big. It was too big for him to manually play around with each time. His computer just couldn't handle it. So the sacrifice and reduced the densities. So what we're not selling is we're not selling really pretty point clouds. And I think that's sort of the decision that we made reasonably early on. And it sort of boils down to, why do you do a building survey? You do a building survey not to get a point cloud. You do a building survey because you want a survey of what it is. You essentially, at some stage, you want a floor plan, either be it 2D, 3D, whatever. You want to know the size of the rooms and everything like that. What you're not sort of worried about at this, like nobody uses point clouds. Like before I did anything and before I was sort of brought into NavLive, like I hadn't really used point clouds. In a construction company, most people don't even really know what a point cloud is, but they know what the output is. They know what the end result of that point cloud is. So yes, our point clouds aren't super sexy. They're not super pretty. You can't sort of, like I have seen some where you can like read what's written on a piece of paper stuck to a wall on the point clouds and you go, wow, man, that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, exactly. What is, that doesn't help you. I mean, you can do that with a picture. So our device takes pictures at the same time and, you can use the two together, but we're giving you sort of speed and just ease of use, which, there's definitely a market for both. So I see project managers at the moment, firefighters. Realistically, I mean, you're fixing problems, you're solving stuff on site, something's changed, you're having to immediately jump on something. And however organized you may be at the start of the project, at some stage, it's something's going to go wrong and you're going to have to firefight. I see the project manager of the future being more like an air traffic controller, where you've just got all the information presented to you in front of you, and you can, it's there for you to sort of move around. You'll have a 3D scan of the building that's, updated daily or something, or maybe even hourly. I mean, geez, you can put a Lidar on a drone without too much problem. So you can see real-time progress. That real-time progress is then tracked. So again, there are already softwares out there, very, very expensive ones, can track on-site progress through videos. So they can see how much cabling is being laid, how much ducting is being done, how much pipe work has been done, and then how much of that's been lagged and that sort of stuff. So, you can see real-time progress happening. You can see wouldn't it be amazing if your Gantt chart actually like changed because it said, well, this still looks like it's got 50% of the way to go through. So we've shifted everything along a little bit more. And then,